All right, welcome into Four Verts. I am Harrison Graham. The Monday Night Football doubleheader just concluded as the Chargers took down the Raiders in the late game. Earlier, the Buccaneers beat the Texans in a last-second thriller. We'll get to that game here in a little bit as well. Let's start with the game that just ended. Chargers 20, Raiders 9. Just a swarming defensive performance from Jesse Minter's crew as they take down Geno Smith and company in a game that was close-ish, but not really. I mean, the Chargers kind of dominated this game. And I think what was indicative of that was a drive by the Raiders that started midway through the third quarter and finished with about 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter. In fact, I'm going to pull up the exact details of this because I want to get this right. Because I don't think I've ever seen a drive quite like this. 19 plays, 62 yards for the Raiders, took 11 minutes and 15 seconds off the clock, all to end in a field goal to cut it to 20-9 with about 12 minutes left. And despite getting, I think, 3 more possessions after that, they never scored again. Let me repeat that. A 19-play, 62-yard drive, 11 minutes and 15 seconds. So they were getting like 3.5 yards per play and had to settle for a mid-range field goal. A huge win for the Chargers because a 2-score game remained a 2-score game in a drive that almost took a quarter. I mean, Jesse Minter's defense, led by Derwin James, was just absolutely flying around and cracking skulls tonight. I mean, it was fun to watch. You know, all things equal, if I don't have a dog in the fight, I prefer offense, but that when you sometimes you watch a defensive clinical performance like that and you're like, man, this is just enjoyable. No, they're not missing tackles. They're playing hard. And granted, I thought the Raiders played pretty well on defense too to give them their offense chance after chance. Geno Smith, 3 interceptions tonight, but not a lot of opportunities to make plays. I thought he made a big mistake on a drive later in the game with midway through the fourth quarter. They've got a 3rd and 15 at the 20, down 20-9, and he forces one in the end zone, and James tips it up, and it's picked off by a different defender. I get it. You're going to have to get into the end zone at some point, but you can't force that with that much time left. You kick the field goal there, it's an 8-point game. The game's still alive. Once that pass is picked off, which, by the way, 3rd pick of the night, the game's over. It ends the game. Even when Marion Hampton fumbles shortly after that to give the Raiders another possession, it just didn't matter because you weren't going to score twice at that point. You had to get at least 3 there to make it a 1-score game. And I thought Geno forced one. And listen, he's got a little bit of a tendency to do that. He throws a lot of tight window passes. He's a fearless quarterback. You respect him for it, but also it can bite you in the ass sometimes. And, tonight the Chargers were pressuring him all night long, even after Khalil Mack left the game with an injury. He was running for his life. I'm not acting like it's easy, but I thought that he struggled, and that was a poor decision there. Another great game for Justin Herbert. 2 games into the season, he looks excellent. Let's see, 19 of 27, 242, 2 touchdowns. Quentin Johnston, 3 for 71 and a touchdown. Keenan Allen seems resurged back in L.A., 5 for 61 and a touchdown. Lab McConkey, 5 for 48. Just kind of plugging along. And, at their core, Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman want to run the football, but they only had 26 carries for 81 yards tonight. Herbert led the way with 31 yards rushing, but let Herbert cook. When you have a talent like this at quarterback, he should be the engine to your offense at this stage in his career. So if they get to the point where they're running the football effectively with Marion Hampton and Najee Harris, they're going to be pretty difficult to stop, especially if this Quentin Johnston year 3 breakout is real, because he's looked great so far. 3 touchdowns in 2 games. We know McConkey's a nice player. Keenan Allen is a really nice veteran complimentary piece at this stage in his career. Trey Harris has popped a little bit. I'm liking what I'm seeing from the Chargers and obviously from Justin Herbert offensively. And Jesse Minter is going to have this defense be one of the 5 best units in the NFL. Now, we'll see what's going on with Khalil Mack and his arm. what that situation is, how long he's going to be out. But if they can just get him back, for the stretch run, that would be huge. So big win for LA. I thought they played really, really well tonight. Before we take a look at the other game where Baker Mayfield's heroics got the Bucs to 2-0, I want to tell you guys about tonight's sponsor. That is PrizePicks, a daily fantasy made easy. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. It's great to have football back. I didn't quite win my PrizePicks lineup tonight. Needed Ashton Genty to find the end zone, but I'm back on the saddle, baby, and I got that extra money in my account because I used code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after I played my first $5 lineup. But the way you play PrizePicks is simple. You pick 2 to 6 player lineups, choose more or less on stat projections available, and if you hit, you win money. It's very simple. And on certain lineups, due to the flex play, which PrizePicks invented, you can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Had a 4-player lineup tonight. Only got 3 of the 4 players right. If I went with the flex play, I still would have made some money, but I went with the power play there. I wanted it all. Got to be honest. But listen, we're back on the saddle tomorrow. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups once you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups once you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Okay, Buccaneers, Texans. As, I want to start with Houston, actually. And we're going to get to Baker in that final drive, and that was fantastic. But something is just missing with Houston offensively. And look, the easy thing to point to is just the offensive line has had issues since last year, and that's valid. And you traded Tunsil, and you tried to go to this youth movement, and it's just, through 2 games, it doesn't look better than last year. I like Ariante Aristry. I think he's going to be a good player, but that interior has major problems. It's not great. No one's questioning that. But C.J. Stroud, since the start of last season, has just, it's not like he's way off. It just feels like he's slightly off all the time. They can't run the ball behind this offensive line. They really miss Joe Mixon. Nick Chubb had that nice touchdown run to give them the lead late, but throughout the course of that game, he was largely ineffective. Nico Collins had the nice touchdown grab, but he should be a guy that's threatening to go for 100 plus every single week. 3 for 52 tonight on 9 targets. It's just off. And they change offensive coordinators. They fire Bobby Slowick. They go with Nick Caley, bring in a Sean McVay guy. And listen, it's 2 games. It's not the end of the world, but they're 0-2. The Indianapolis Colts are 2-0. And listen, I don't know if this is going to continue for Daniel Jones, but we know Shane Steichen knows what he's doing offensively, and they can run the football with Jonathan Taylor. Houston's in, it's minor trouble early on here. It is minor trouble early on in the season, and I just don't really know what you do. I mean, I don't think they can, snap their fingers and make some move to make the offensive line better. So you got to work around it. That's where the coaching, the scheme comes in, and CJ getting the ball out quicker and more accurately. And it's just a mess, man. Like, this Bucs defense is good, but it's not lethal. They're a more offensive team than defensive team. So I don't know. I'm keeping an eye on Houston here. I don't even know if I could say they're still my favorite to win the division. I mean, if the Colts just put up 29 points on Denver's defense, one of the elite units in the NFL. So check back in a couple weeks, but I think Houston's got to figure some things out, and they got to figure some things out fast. Obviously, for the Bucs, second straight week, Baker Mayfield last-minute drive in this game, last second. I think Bucky Irving scored with 6 seconds left. For a while, the Bucs were in the mud. I mean, Houston's front was giving them problems. Gadecki went out at right tackle. Obviously, Tristan Wirfs is out, so they're down to 2 backup tackles. Baker was hot early, but for the middle chunk of that game and even a lot of the fourth quarter, didn't get much going. And on that last drive, that 4th and 10 scramble to not break a sack, but you felt like he was about to get sacked, and he kind of just squirted up the middle and scrambled for about 15. That kind of got him going. it kind of was like, okay, I'm going to go do this now and drive the boys down. And that's what he did. Made some big throws. Obviously, Irving punches it in inside the 5-yard line there. And what a win on the road for the Bucs without their top 2 tackles pretty much the whole game, 20-19. And they overcame a lot because the Bucs special teams units, for a lack of a better phrase, shit the bed tonight. McLaughlin misses a 38-yard field goal. They have a punt blocked, and they give up a long punt return to set up the go-ahead touchdown with less than 3 minutes to go or whatever it was. I mean, that's 3 points in favor of Houston on the missed field goal. They got a field goal out of the punt block, so that's 6, and a touchdown out of the punt return that they had no good coverage on. I mean, it was basically a 2-touchdown swing on special teams alone, and the Bucs ended up winning by 1 point. So if they just play a clean special teams game, they probably win this game like, I don't know, 23-10 or something like that. But that's why there's 3 phases, and it gave Houston a chance to win, and they took a lead late. But that 4th and 10 scramble to keep the game alive really ignited Baker and the Bucs offense to find a way to get over the finish line here. So good for Tampa. They're 2-0. Houston is 0-2. They're scrambling a bit here early in the season. So we'll see if they're able to figure some things out. But that's it for week 2. Bucs 20, Houston 19, Chargers 20, Raiders 9. Chargers and Bucs improved to 2-0. Raiders fall to 1-1, and the Texans fall to 0-2. My name is Harrison Graham. Hit that subscribe button here on 4Verts. Late night edition here. It's almost 12:30 Central Time as we're wrapping up this video, so appreciate everybody for tuning in. We will be back today, technically, but after a night's sleep with more NFL or college football content. We'll see what the show is tomorrow, so lock us in and stay tuned. We will see you guys soon here on 4Verts. Enjoy the rest of your night, everybody.